Imagine a modern young man, let's call him Riku. Riku wants discipline, he wants focus, he wants mastery, but he lives in an era where the world pulls his attention apart 1,000 times a day. And so he does what everyone does today. He samples a little of everything. One day he tries journaling, the next day, cold showers. A week later, a new productivity system. A month later, he's watching videos about dopamine detox, saving motivational quotes, bookmarking ancient wisdom, and yet nothing sticks. Riku treats self-improvement like a tasting menu. A small bite of this philosophy, a nibble of that technique, a little stoicism here, a sprinkle of zen there. He becomes a collector of methods, but a master of none. Every time boredom creeps in, he switches paths. Every time frustration appears, he searches for a better method. Every time the process becomes difficult, he bargains with himself. The bargaining always sounds the same. Maybe I should try something else. This isn't working fast enough. There has to be a more exciting way. I'll start again tomorrow. But tomorrow never comes. And every negotiation ends the same way: he loses. Not because he is weak, but because he is scattered. Ancient warriors saw this cycle with ruthless clarity. They didn't have words like dopamine, but they understood human nature far better than we do. They knew that the mind is constantly looking for escape, for novelty, for comfort, for anything that keeps it from facing the monotony real mastery requires. In Bushido, they said, a man who cannot do one thing with full presence will fail at all things. Where modern people chase variety, the samurai feared it, because variety scatters the mind, and a scattered mind loses battles. A scattered mind hesitates. A scattered mind dies. The samurai trained to eliminate choice because choice weakens intention. They understood that mastery comes not from sampling 10,000 techniques, but from engraving one into the soul. And in this chaotic age of distractions and constant switching, Riku's struggle is simply the modern form of an ancient weakness, the inability to repeat the same simple action day after day, long after the excitement is gone, long after the novelty has died, long after the ego begins to scream for something easier. This is the weakness that Kata was designed to kill. In Japan, warriors followed a system so deceptively plain that outsiders often mistook it for ritual or superstition. It was neither. It was Kata. Not the glamorous sword duel, not the cinematic clash of steel, not the heroic battle literature likes to remember. Kata was the opposite of spectacle. It was repetition so quiet it became terrifying. The same stance, the same breath, the same cut, over and over thousands of times, until the body stopped asking questions and simply became the movement. Sometimes the hands blistered and split, sometimes the knees bruised against the dojo floor, sometimes the muscles trembled like frayed rope, sometimes the world around them disappeared, and all that was left was the shape of the technique and the sound of their own breathing. To the samurai, kata was not practice. It was purification, a slow, deliberate burning away of hesitation, ego, and fear. It turned doubt into decisiveness. It turned fear into readiness. It turned thought into instinct. Zen monks saw the same truth. Their life was one long kata chop wood, carry water, wake sweep the temple, bow breathe, repeat, not seeking excitement, not seeking a spiritual high, not even seeking mastery, but seeking emptiness. The emptiness where self-doubt evaporates, where the mind stops searching for alternatives, where the body understands what the mind resists. Repetition is the path. And then there is the Last Ronin, the wandering ghost of Bushido, a man who carried no school, no clan, no master, only his practice. He became terrifying, not because he knew many techniques, but because he mastered a few so deeply that they dissolved into his bones. A technique drilled 10,000 times becomes something more than skill. It becomes identity. This is why ancient Japanese warriors trained until the world around them faded, not because they were obsessed with perfection, but because they understood a universal truth. A wandering mind kills discipline. A disciplined mind kills hesitation. And hesitation kills a warrior. Kata was their weapon against the mind's chaos. their anchor, their mirror, their furnace. It is the ancient system modern minds are too restless to endure. When Riku tries to follow Kata, whether in skill, discipline, or habit, he discovers a truth all ancient warriors understood. The first battle is always fought against the body. Not the world, not circumstances, not motivation, the body, after a few days. He gets impatient after a few weeks. He gets bored. After a few repetitions, he starts to question, why am I doing this? Shouldn't I switch things up? Is this even working? This is the internal war. Modern psychology gives it many names. Ego depletion, novelty addiction, dopamine desensitization, resistance to monotony. But Zen masters had a simpler explanation, the mind refusing to die. Because repeating one thing 1,000 times without distraction, without excitement, without reward, forces the ego to dissolve, and the ego will do anything to survive. It does not scream, it whispers, a subtle, seductive voice in the back of Riku's head. Do something else. Change it up. This is too simple. This is too slow. You need something new. You're wasting time. There's a faster method. These whispers are not harmless doubts. They are the same inner enemies that samurai spent lifetimes confronting. To the warriors of Bushido, boredom wasn't a sign to change direction. It was a sign that the true training had begun, because boredom is the ego's first line of defense. Frustration is its second. Doubt is its third. If Riku breaks at boredom, he never reaches frustration. If he breaks at frustration, he never reaches doubt. If he breaks at doubt, he never reaches mastery. The Last Ronin understood this with frightening clarity. When his mind grew restless, he did not interpret it as failure. He interpreted it as progress. The moment you get bored is the moment the technique starts sinking inward. The moment you feel resistance is the moment the ego starts cracking. The moment you want to quit is the moment you stand at the gate between habit and identity. Cross it and you evolve. Retreat and you repeat the same life forever. This is the internal war Riku must face. Not the war of swords, but the war of self. Bushido has a cruel law. Choose one path, walk it until your feet bleed. Only then will the path reveal its truth. This is the law that modern people break every few days. Riku tries to walk it, but he keeps stopping to check if the path is working. He counts days. He measures progress. He searches for signs. He wants proof, immediately, visibly, emotionally. But a warrior does not check. A warrior commits, because the one-path system is not designed to reward you. It is designed to transform you, and transformation only happens under the pressure of repetition, under the weight of consistency, under the silence of monotony. The one-path system is brutal because it demands no shortcuts, no improvisation, no novelty, no excitement, no visible progress for long periods. Modern minds crave stimulation. Ancient warriors tolerated silence. Modern minds search for hacks. Ancient warriors searched for depth. Modern minds chase motivation. Ancient warriors killed it and replaced it with duty. Kata, the purest form of the one path, forces a man to face silence, to face himself, to face the truth that mastery is not a spark, but a slow, burning flame, repeating the same movement again and again until the mind stops resisting, until the body stops hesitating, until the technique dissolves into instinct. This is the hidden brutality of the one path. For Riku, this feels unnatural, uncomfortable, even wrong, because everything in his life has trained him to seek more variety, more stimulation, more novelty. But Bushido warns that the man who seeks many paths will walk none of them long enough to understand where they lead. The Last Ronin embodied this truth. He wasn't unstoppable because he knew 1,000 forms. He became a living phantom on the battlefield because he knew one form so deeply that it ceased to be a technique and became the rhythm of his bones. He was not fast because he trained speed. He was fast because he repeated slowness with such discipline that speed emerged as a consequence. Precision became instinct, instinct became identity, identity became destiny. That is the one path, the path modern people are too restless to walk. There is a Zen teaching, the gap is where weakness enters. not in failure, not in exhaustion, not in the moment of struggle. In the gap, if you skip one day, the mind begins negotiatings. Skip 2 days, the body forgets the rhythm. Skip 3, the identity fractures, because the moment you stop, the weaker self returns with familiar confidence, saying, "See, you never really changed. Come back to comfort. Come back to what you were." Consistency is not about streaks. It's about identity momentum, the quiet force that grows when you show up day after day, whether you feel like it or not. Modern psychology calls this neuroplastic consolidation, the strengthening of neural pathways only when they are activated repeatedly, continuously, without interruption. A circuit grows stronger, not because it is used intensely, but because it is used consistently. Bushido had a simpler word for this: forging the soul, not shaping it, not improving it, forging it, striking the same metal with the same hammer again and again until the form becomes unbreakable. The Last Ronin followed a harsh rule: 1 practice missed is 10 practices lost. Not as punishment, as truth. He understood that mastery is not built in intensity, but in unbroken repetition. Intensity creates the spark. Repetition builds the blade. He trained until the sword became an extension of thought, and thought became an extension of spirit, until action flowed without hesitation. Until movement required no decision, until decision required no mind. This is the essence of practice without gaps. A rhythm so continuous that the self dissolves into the motion. Modern people want intensity. They want passion. They want dramatic surges of effort, a week of grinding, a month of all in, a burst of motivation that burns hot and dies fast. Warriors wanted something else entirely. They wanted inevitability, a practice so deeply ingrained that stopping would feel unnatural, a discipline so woven into identity that breaking it would feel like breaking the self, a path so continuous that each day feels incomplete without it. That is practice without gaps, the quiet, relentless force that turns ordinary men into something mythic. Ancient warriors never waited for obstacles. They planned for them. They knew that a man who waits until the moment of weakness has already lost. Because in the moment itself, when fatigue settles into the bones, when emotions cloud judgment, when hunger, cold, or doubt strike, the mind becomes soft, indecisive, easily persuaded. So they built a system that modern psychology now calls pre-commitment. But they understood it simply as fate, shaping before battle, before travel, before hunger, before fatigue. They decided who they would be before the challenge arrived. This is pre-solution, identity cemented in advance. A samurai did not ask himself each morning, "Should I train today?" Such a question would have been absurd. Before dawn, he had already chosen. No matter the weather, I train. No matter my mood, I practice. No matter my fatigue, I repeat the kata. No excuses. No negotiation, no gaps. These were not preferences. They were vows. Modern people wait to see how they feel. Warriors pre-decided the outcome, so feelings became irrelevant. They knew the enemy was always the future self, the version that seeks comfort, postponement, distraction, a softer path. So they built structures that made weakness impossible. Riku begins to adopt this. He lays out his training clothes the night before, so the morning offers no decision, only motion. He carves a minimum repetition count into his mind, a number small enough that he can do it even on the worst day, but non-negotiable enough to maintain the identity flame. He writes a simple rule above his desk. I do not ask myself. I do my kata. He removes decisions from the morning entirely. No choosing, no debating, no internal conversation. Because he learns the truth. Your life is not determined by what you want in the moment, but by the identity you choose beforehand. And slowly, he understands why ancient systems, Bushido vows, Zen rituals, samurai oaths, looked almost religious. They weren't rituals. They weren't superstitions. They were armor against the future self who would try to sabotage the path. Armor against the mind that fears discipline. Armor against the weakness, waiting in the gap. Solutions are not preparation. They are self-forging. They are destiny chosen early. One morning, Riku wakes up, and something is different. There is no friction, no internal debate, no voice trying to persuade him to stay in bed a little longer. He stands before he even realizes he has moved. He begins his kata, before thought has time to interfere. For the first time in his life, discipline is not a battle. It is a reflex. His body moves before his mind awakens. His breath falls into the old familiar pattern. His hands carve the shapes of practice with a calm, unforced certainty. Kata is no longer something he does. It is something he is, and in that moment, he understands a secret the ancient ones guarded fiercely. Mastery is not the sharpening of skill. Mastery is the reshaping of identity. The repetition that once felt suffocating now feels like a returning home, grounding, purifying, anchoring him to a version of himself he once believed impossible. The boredom is gone. The frustration is gone. Only presence remains. This is the transformation the Last Ronin symbolizes. The quiet, merciless refinement of the self through repetition so consistent that the weaker identity has no place left to stand. The old Riku, the one who hesitated, negotiated, delayed, fades like smoke. In his place stands someone heavier, sharper, calmer, undistracted. Riku has not become a warrior because he mastered many things. He became a warrior because he mastered one and allowed that single discipline to echo through every corner of his life. His work becomes cleaner. His mind becomes quieter. His decisions become firmer. Even his presence carries a weight that others can feel without him saying a word. This is the habit modern people are too weak to follow. Not because it is physically demanding, but because it requires a kind of death. The death of the self that craves comfort, variety, dopamine, and escape. The death of the self that avoids silence because silence reveals who you really are. But if you can follow it, if you can choose one path and walk it long after the excitement fades, then your transformation becomes inevitable. Your doubts become small. Your fears become quiet. Your old identities crumble under the weight of your new consistency. You become the kind of person whose very presence is discipline. And that, in the modern world, is a rare and fearsome thing. If this philosophy resonates with you, subscribe for more lessons from the Last Ronin and the Path of Japan, Bushido and Zen. Walk the ashen path with us.